So, you want to air some goddamn ice ads during the wrestling program, do you, Zaslav? You fucking goddamn inbred, dweebish looking sap. You really think the professional wrestling fans, by and large, are going to put up with that horse shit? Oh, no, 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 no. This is why you are a fucking mockery, why you are a meme, and why you are seen as one of the worst leaders of any media broadcasting entity, whatever the fuck. But it's not like AEW is the only wrestling program that has aired ads for what amounts to a racist organization that has only been given power by an equally racist, bigoted, and drooling, dementia-filled, rotting away orange blob. And by the way, if you happen to support ICE in any goddamn way, that's what I gotta fucking say. Abolish ICE. Abolish the idea of targeting people just based solely on their race, on their skin tone, whatever. Are there problem people in this country? Of course, there are a bunch in the goddamn White House that we could do something about. But no, so many of you saps decided to vote for the goddamn wrong candidate, because you just couldn't admit that a woman might actually be able to do something proper, and who knows how things would have actually worked out. But ICE ads, let's get back to ICE ads. You have ads for this. Basically, it's a terroristic organization. That's what it is. That's what it fucking is. They're a bunch of thugs. They're a bunch of old, curmudgeon-y, racist assholes that have no business putting on all these military fatigues. And I don't care if they're former military. I don't care if they were trained in like jujitsu, death jitsu. I don't really fucking care what they were trained in. I don't fucking care. They are scumbags, they are racist, and they are everything that is wrong with society. Not just this country, but goddamn society. But WWE has gone full on MAGA. I mean, you had Triple H and you had Linda McMahon, the drooling pile that has the Shawn Michaels eyes going on. Vince McMahon, whatever drooling pile is left of the flesh that was once the man that brought professional wrestling to the masses. At least his vision of it. And you have Stephanie McMahon there. You have other people. And you have so many bullshit things going on here. Like, oh, we're going to support this administration that's cutting cancer research, that's doing a whole bunch of stuff, that's trying to basically rip families apart. Families are just coming here for a better goddamn life. There was nothing wrong with families coming here for a better goddamn life, because you know what? That's what this country was founded on. Oh, and by the way, maybe the Brits had a goddamn point by sending people over to this country, because they sent people that basically just were religious fucking nuts. And look where that got us. We got a bunch of religious nuttery people that seem to think that ICE is really good because the CW and the USA Network have also been airing ICE ads. Now maybe, just maybe, it's not WWE insisting upon that. Maybe it's the networks. Maybe it's the heads. I don't fucking know. I know this much. Anybody that wants to support ICE, you are a fucking asshole. If you know anybody that is in ICE and you are not immediately banning them from your social circle and never talking to them again, you are just as bad as they are. If you are in ICE, just know you are nothing more than a thug and a scumbag. And you deserve to be mocked endlessly because you have no fucking power. Because guess what? You deserve to be mocked. It's not like the police. The police that actually do proper things. Even if there are bad apples there, and sure, there's all kinds of reform that needs to be done, but guess what? The police, by and large, the state, the federal, whatever, they do a lot of really good stuff, but they are given the proper authority. ICE, all ICE is a terroristic organization. I have no problem saying that because guess what? They can't do fucking shit. They can't do fucking shit at all, because the more they try to do stuff, the more people are going to push back. And they are a bunch of goddamn cowards, led by a fucking coward that said he wanted to fuck his own goddamn daughter, that has been racist for so many goddamn decades and was a meme and a celebrity in name only, but at least he wasn't given any kind of political power. But then you dumb motherfuckers decided we don't like brown or black people or anybody that looks different than us, and we gotta make sure we protect our country and rights. You inbred hillbillies, and by the way, you deserve to be called that. Anybody that wants to support ICE can go straight to fucking hell. And if you got kids, I hope the kids end up going to different families so you don't have anybody around. So when you eventually get the karma that's coming to you, we can all just say, abolish ICE. It's your fault that you're in this position. And guess what? Humanity is going to survive while you guys are going to die off. I'm John Rant with my review of AEW Dynamite 6. It's been 6 years of AEW Dynamite. They were at the Hard Rock Live at the Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida, which I believe was the gimmick hometown of Dolph Ziggler, if I recall correctly. So I don't know how much the venue holds. I would think 5,000 to 6,000. They had around 3,300 there, according to WrestleTix, last time I checked. I like the look of the venue. I like the fact that it was basically shot straight on from the stage. That was cool. That was some nice stuff. Unfortunately, this show also reminded me of a lot of the stuff that this company could basically get away from and be doing a lot better than they are now. They wouldn't have to be running amphitheaters like this. They could be running arenas. They could be further along than they are, because there were things I liked on this show, but good God, y'all. I'm going to the end of the year. I need to get to 1 million views. I need to get to World's End. If they do not change a whole bunch of things by the time World End comes, I don't know how much more of this I can do. So, by the way, one of the Bucks gambled all the money away, so now they're the broke Bucks. This comedy is not working for me. I'm sorry. The Bucks have never been funny, and this stuff is not working for me. It's working for some, and that's fine. Kenny Omega's back after like 3 weeks off. I know he's hurt. I know he doesn't have a whole lot of time left. He has to basically space his stuff out. But between Omega and Edge, it basically is, it's like a dead heat as far as how many, months or weeks or whatever people can take off, like between them. So it's Bro Dito and Kenny Omega against Josh Alexander and the Broke Bucks. Referee Rick Knox. So automatically no rules are going to be enforced, because I don't care if Rick Knox is a nice guy. He's a terrible referee. Callis is on commentary. Callis is all over this show, and I got to be perfectly honest. Between the Death Riders and the Callis family, especially Don Callis himself and a few other people, I'm getting kind of sick of a lot of the bullshit they're doing. So, Rick Knox is so useless. Later, the One Wing Angel pinned Josh Alexander. They didn't bother to enforce tag rules. I don't know why they just don't say this is under Lucha rules, because then people wouldn't expect any rules. But then again, it's Rick Knox being involved. And then we get Omega arguing with the Bucks, and then Josh Alexander attacks Omega, and then Jurassic Express show up. Whoa. Yay. And Jack Perry and Omega get in a shoving match. It looks like Omega's fighting with a child, and Riho isn't there. By the way, the Bucks and the Express just fought off. They just fought off. Omega talks about being here since day one. Some of the fans have been here since day one. If it's your first AEW show, that's okay too. That's fine too. That's okay. And that's okay with me. There are no strings to hold me down. And then suddenly the lights go out during his, goodbye, good night, bang. And suddenly he comes back up, and somebody with long hair and a mask is in the ring. And oh my God, it's Andrade El Olio. He left WWE in like late 2020, early 2021, I believe. Went there, had some issues, punched Sammy out, and to be honest, Sammy fucking deserved it, let's be honest. Just look at that face. He looks halfway a putz. And now, he went back to WWE after World's End 2023. The stuff with Charlotte didn't work out. Let's be perfectly honest, that relationship seemed kind of toxic by the end. Whatever. Andrade left. I don't know why he left. It's none of my business. He's gone. He's back here. He's gone from AEW, or he's gone from WWE to AEW to WWE back to AEW. He's running out of places to go back to. I do not anticipate that he will be back in WWE at any point, because he's near 40, and he's probably happy there's no wellness policy, if you get my drift. He's part of the Callis family. Dear God in heaven. Okay, package on Dynamite moments. I remember when Dynamite ran NBA-size arenas and actually filled them to an extent. And I hope that they can get back to that, but they're only going to get back to that if Tony Khan pivots on a few things and really shores stuff up. Mark Briscoe is reflecting. He's also reflecting on how he beat MJF, and he wants a shot at gold, but Orange Cassidy has a shot at Fletcher tonight. So, we have Tony Khan, Tony Khan's favorite wrestler, Orange Cassidy, because he dressed up like him for Halloween. We get Orange Cassidy with his video thing, And then we get some weird, the weird text and everything, like like the screen needs to reboot or stuff like that. But then Orange Cassidy stuff opens back up, so is it just supposed to be a lazy opening? Was that actually a glitch? So it's Orange Cassidy in his first singles match in a number of months taking on Kyle Fletcher. I tried to give this a chance. I tried. I hate Orange Cassidy. He's not a wrestler to me, but I tried to give it a chance. I find the gimmick to be a joke. I don't care if he can do the moves, but I tried. And they weren't going to take it seriously. And then later, the evil hologram, L. Colon, I think is his name. I actually don't remember what it is. Super Calo showed up. And we got a brainbuster on the buckle, 1, 2, 3. That's your expert analysis, and that's the only analysis I'm going to give of an Orange Cassidy match until he actually wants to act like an adult. Until then, I don't care. So, yeah, he's laid out, and then L. Colon lays him out, or is kicking him. Because Hologram's out for the rest of the year, apparently with a knee injury, so we need to go with Sin Cara and the Dark Sin Cara, because that was such a great idea in WWE. Let's do it again. I mean, yes, they were doing shit like that in Mexico before. I'm sorry, whatever. I don't know who that guy is either. Like, I really don't know who that guy is. When I saw the tattoos, dear God, I thought it was TJP under a mask, which is not what we need to see, but then that guy actually looked fully grown, so it's not TJP. So Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Briscoe show up to basically chase the heels to the goddamn stage. And weird lighting for the Callis family. Is this part of evil Cologne Ram's theme? What is this? This Callis family stuff is annoying, basically because I'm sorry, there is no amount of, build they can give to make me care about Don Callis. Renee is backstage with Mercedes, who wants to face off against somebody from Florida next week on Tuesday. I will actually be off that night, so I will actually be able to watch Title Tuesday. Great, I get to watch Mercedes against somebody, because that's what I want to see. I don't want to hear her talk. I keep wondering if a studio executive from Disney or somewhere could give her a role so I don't have to see this fake-sounding idiot on my television. I don't care if she can put on great matches. She's put on some great matches this year. She's fake, she's phony, and she needs to be called out on it. Harley shows up with her puppet and offers to team with Mercedes, wants to be part of the tag team tournament that they're going to build in. Harley's great, as far as ventriloquist work. So, John Moxley, Claudio, and Daniel Garcia took on Hobbs, Joe, and Hangman. No Shibata, for he is getting maintenance on his new brain. So, it's the Death Riders rule. I don't mean that the Death Riders rule. I mean it is the Death Riders rule in this sense. I will not watch anything much with the Death Riders. I am going to basically skip over as much stuff with the Death Riders as possible until Tony Khan fucking pivots on this stuff. Because it has been stale. Fans don't like it. It's not booing like, oh, we hate you. It's like, no, we don't want to see this. So Blood and Guts is on the November 12th, and that's in Greensboro, and they think they're going to even come close to drawing half of that 22,000-seat building. Not with shit like this with the Death Riders or not. I bet you they're going to do a women's and a men's War, Blood, and Guts games thing. I bet you they're just going to do two. They're going to have one, and they're going to have the other. So later, Deadeye, in a buckshot, pinned Claudio. They couldn't even pin the sack of shit that is Daniel Garcia. I don't care that he can do the moves. I don't care how inspirational his comeback story is. This is terrible. They need to stop with this, and they're pinning Claudio. They're pinning Claudio. They could actually mean something, except he doesn't anymore. And basically, Joe was upset a little bit earlier in this match because Hangman stole his tag. So now Joe's getting in his face. We get security and Jerry Lynn and one guy that looked like he was pulling his dreads back way too goddamn far, to the point most of his scalp looked like mine. It was like all, shaved down and everything. And basically, he is tired. Joe's tired, basically upset at Hangman, so it's a sudden heel turn or a sudden shift. He says, I will F your ass. I will fuck your ass, is what he said. Twice. Okay, Samoan submission machine, I guess. So, Paige is backstage and basically says he respects Joe, and sure, the match is on at Wrestle Dream, but if you throw another tantrum like that, I will ruin your life. Tony Storm shows up as the white version of Spy versus Spy and took on Ty Mello. For what reason does Ty Mello gain a singles match in 2025? She's not any good. She is never going to be good. And Tony, I thought, was like a groomsman at a mobster's wedding, the way she was dressed. And she won with the Storm Zero. And she's all lost because she lost her title. Now, without the title, who the bloody hell am I? Chris Statlander, I need to face you one-on-one to know. For the love of God, don't give it back to Tony. I mean, I'm sorry, Statlander needs to have a decent-sized run with this. But good enough stuff as it was. And no, I didn't focus much on Ty Mello's wrestling because she can't fucking wrestle. She was off for a while because she had a baby, and quite frankly, she probably should have stayed home because you could get Anna Jay to actually team up with somebody good. So, Sammy was getting promo time because he's not done with Eddie Kingston because they got a lot of history. Yeah, Eddie's over with the fans, and they just want Sammy sent over goddamn Niagara Falls in a barrel. Joe wants Hangman and Wrestle Dream. And then the Demand took on the Swirl, Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. I could hear the ratings swirling, the porcelain throne at this point. They won, the Demand did. Referee Rick Knox, once again, proving that he's incompetent. This went through a break. Why? By the way, this is a 2.5 hour special. This went through a break. I'm gonna plug a video I did. 10 improvements AEW need to make. Or something. Something like that. Need to happen. I forget the exact titling of it. I'm very tired. It's about midnight. And I've been working a bunch of straight days and still have one more and then have a bunch of movies to watch because, yay, the channel content won't die until I go past 1 million views. And I'm under 20,000 until then. But basically, the Syndicate show up and We Hurt People chants. And basically, MVP says he let everybody down, including his guys. He's, maybe not wrestling. Maybe wrestling isn't for him. But he can fight. And they're going to have a no DQ street fight. Renee is with Statlander. Why does it look like she's dressed up like the alien thing again? Why? We don't need to go back to that. She accepts Tony's challenge for Wrestle Dream, and then Harley shows up with her puppet and without pants. Not that I'm complaining. Bless Harley. Harley is really trying here to make the most of her television time. Don Callis talks about, the Don Callis family growing. Okada and Takeshita are there. And he says, Brodito, you escaped with, by the skin of your teeth. You escaped with the titles. I don't like that. So you're going to face these two guys next week. And Take is like, no. Takeshita's like, I don't want to do this. And yeah, they need to get the title off of Okada, like, as quick as possible. As quick as goddamn possible. He is fucking dragging this shit down. It is ridiculous. It is really fucking ridiculous. Like, he's tried maybe 5% of the time that he's been there. And Takeshita, I guess, is facing Zack Sabre Jr. If I'm right, it's on the 13th of October, King of Pro Wrestling. I mean, that does actually make sense because Power Struggle's in November. I would try to watch that, but that's on a Monday, and I got to work a whole bunch. I might try to review it, but I got a lot of work I'm doing. Whole point is that Take is facing off against Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP title after winning the G1, and I hope he wins. What I would do is I would have him win the title. I would have him hold it till Revolution, and I would have him beat Adam Page for the title at Revolution and hold the titles up and basically say, hey, Okada, I have one more title than you do, and oh, wait, I have one that you never won. And maybe that would light a fire under Okada so he wouldn't, just phone it in, bitch. So anyway, Darby gets a big pop. Statlander comes out. And then we have Shafir and Yuta. Okay, this is the main event. It is Darby Allin and Chris Statlander against Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. Charge Tony Khan with war crimes. Reopen Nuremberg. For God's sakes. Why? This freaking MMA housewife. That's what she is. She is not cut out for this goddamn shit. She can't do any of this stuff on a big stage. And Yuta, this freaking disease-ridden tumor. This pile of afterbirth that just looks like a goddamn... It looks like if a Q-tip was shoved in a goddamn sewage tank and then they suddenly gave it sentience. That's really what he looks like. And I don't care if he's a nice guy. And maybe I'm being a bit too harsh. And maybe I'm just being totally blinded by the fact that all of this bullshit going on with the Death Riders has made me wish that this company went under a while ago. And I don't like saying that. But anything would be better than what they're doing here. This is such bullshit. It is so ridiculous. Why on God's green earth are they continuing with this? Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir in the main event. You got Hobbs as 1/3 of the trios champions. You have other people that are completely gone. Wardlow, I mean, he got injured because he was blown up with a garden hose, but all of this, you have so many people that are either sitting at home or in terrible feuds, but you got Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. By the way, it's a no DQ tornado tag, so that means the rules can't be enforced, because let's be perfectly honest, trying to get Marina to follow the goddamn rules would be terrible. Wheeler Yuta can't do anything right. And just, god damn it, putting these two fucking dweebs, these useless pieces of shit, in a goddamn main event. How dare you, Tony Khan? How dare you call yourself a professional wrestling fan? How dare you? By the way, they start brawling in the crowd, which serves no purpose. And with some of the stuff that was happening here, I don't want to see Darby touch another championship in his entire career. Because if he wants to continue to do this stuff, fine. He wants to continue to throw himself on stuff. A pile of chairs and Darby lands on it because Darby is a fucking idiot that wants to cripple himself. And then at one point, Yuta takes a goddamn bump on there and can't even do that right because the chairs can outwork him and outsmart him. And oh look, Tax. We got Tax. Yes, we do. We got Tax. How about you? Felt like inhaling a bunch of goddamn Tax, which would be less painful than watching this. But Shafir then gets picked up and she's got tape on her feet, but she's barefoot because she's an MMA fighter, and I don't care if she can beat the shit out of me and pretty much any fan that is knocking her. I do not care. She's a lousy fucking wrestler and she needs to be told that. If Tony Khan had any balls, if Roddy could tell his wife, please, honey, stop doing this. But Shafir gets slammed feet first on the goddamn Tax. And I could only imagine the kids seeing that and thinking, why is mommy a fucking idiot? Because I don't care how old the kids are. I'd be goddamn asking that. You dumb bitch, you stupid moron. How dare you call yourself a wrestler, Shafir? You idiot. Hope you can't walk straight for a fucking week. You land feet first on goddamn Tax with no shoes on. You motherfucking moron. God, I hope you don't homeschool your goddamn kids. Jesus Christ, those kids would be better off freaking rolling dice on the street. They learn better stuff there. It's like stepping on a Lego, except I would rather eat a Lego than watch this. One of the worst matches of the goddamn year. This company can produce great moments, and then they do this. And by the way, I don't care that women have thumbtacks that they're using. I don't care about that. Here's my thing. You just did a tables and tacks match with MJF and Mark Briscoe. You just did it on your pay-per-view. Yet you're doing tacks here in a match with, well, two alleged main event talents, Statlander and Darby. I don't know if I can trust either of them to put on a good match, if they're going to give it their worst instincts like this. And then you have two of the worst signings that Tony Khan has ever made. Two of the worst. Wheeler Yuta, who has served no purpose except to make me wish that, I don't know, the world had been eradicated a number of years ago, so I didn't have to watch this piece of shit. And Shafir, one of the worst women's wrestlers that I have ever goddamn seen. You can't do this, you dumb broad. And you land feet first on goddamn Tax. So good, I hope it was goddamn worth it. You stupid idiot. You fucking moron. Just say you don't know how to fucking wrestle, Marina. We don't know you anyway, so I don't know why I'm trying to act like I know her. And then Yuta did the powder spot, but did it wrong to Statlander, but then did it to Shafir because Darby ducked. And then we got 450 in a coffin drop, whatever order that was in. 1, 2, 3. And then Tony showed up, Tony Storm that is, And her and Statlander fought off. They just fought off again. And then Darby had his belt and was whipping Yuta. And yeah, I hope that hurt. I hope that hurt. You little spindly child. You deserve every beating that you goddamn get. Because you don't belong here. You need to be told you don't belong here. And hopefully that hurt. Hopefully it hurt just a little bit. Just a little bit in comparison to watching you plague this wrestling program. I despise Wheeler Yuta's existence. I loathe the fact that his parents didn't do the right thing or tell him to go somewhere else and do something else. And I despise you, Tony Khan, for paying him, and I despise you, Bryan Danielson, for sticking up for him. Maybe I shouldn't have cheered his goddamn comeback, because maybe I'm part of the problem. I'm glad he lost at WrestleDream. And Pac showed up. Pac, I don't want to see Pac anymore. He looks like a discount Renaissance fair, like, bit player. Like he should be on A Knight's Tale, or he should be like Heath Ledger, now. Just end this Death Rider stuff. I am so close. I am so close. How many ever days there are left in this year? That's how many days I'm going to review AEW. Unless Tony Khan pivots and ends his Death Rider stuff and just nukes, just scorch earths this goddamn thing. I can't take any more. Anyway, that being said, once again, abolish ICE. If you support ICE, you're a fucking asshole, and I hate you, and I hope that, quite frankly, everything, good in your life basically just gets thrown out the goddamn window. Because if you are all about ripping families apart, and it's not about sanctuary cities or dangerous illegals and everything, if you want to worry about dangerous people coming into this country, okay, focus also with the same energy on the dangerous people that are in the goddamn White House. But you won't do that because you support that. Because you're scum. And you always will be. You don't want to be called that, but you're going to be called that. This isn't about political differences. This is about simply being human. And you ain't human. You never have been, and you never will be. So agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Redland, and until we abolish ICE forever and ever, happy trails to you.